Hi, going to do a quick video today on my new Laguna Swift 4x4 CNC table I just got last week. Made a few modifications to things and was going to share that with everybody in case they might want to do the same thing on their equipment or not. First thing you see over here is the actual controller, and I'll pull the cover off of this. What I did so that I didn't have to have a completely separate computer somewhere else, actually put a flat screen monitor here on the top, built me a shelf for the keyboard and the mouse, and then the controller is now on caster wheels so that it rolls around so you can get it in and out of the way, you can sweep around it. You can move it up against the machine when you're not using it and get more floor space, that sort of thing. As everybody knows, the Laguna actually runs off 220 electricity, and if we open this up here, what I did was I actually took one of the hots off of the hot side of the main power switch and run it through with the neutral over to the back side. Open this back compartment up, and down here I put in a 110 volt receptacle that I can actually power up my computer and my monitor. So it, as you see it right here, it's all sitting here, and if you want to sit and do some CAD drawings and not have the machine running and the fans running and the water pump running, since it's wired to the hot side, you can go down here, actually turn on your computer without turning the machine on. We'll come around here and power this up. And this is where I've got the VCarve Pro installed. So I can actually sit here and do some drawings, and then when I get done, I can take my flash drive, plug it in right here into one of the USB ports, download my files, put them in the HHC, and then cut parts without having actually anything running up until the time I want to turn the main power switch on down there to power the machine up. Also, what I did on the table is you can tell that the factory spoil board is gone, and what is replaced with is 1 inch by 3 inch rectangular tubing, and I actually cut these things to be 5 feet long, and I got 3 sticks of 20-foot long tubing and cut them at 5 foot, so you got 5, 10, 15, 20, so forth and so on, and it used up the whole 3 sticks. So now I've actually got 5 feet of bed, even though you can't use that, but if you get a long piece or something fairly large, you got a little bit more support for it. Then I've also got in the front here this white piece here, and this one running up the side with the tabs on it. This is clamped on to the T-slot, and it's perfectly square over in the lower left hand corner, and over about here where this bolt's at is where the absolute zero is at when it starts and comes over to home itself. So the corner, let me grab a piece of material here. The corner of this jig right here is about 1 inch away each direction from the absolute zero, and what I can do now is all I've got to do is slide a piece of material in and run. I've got a few of these pieces made here. I can slide this down and run the thumb screw down and clamp this in. I don't have to use the little toggle clamps and all that stuff. Everything kind of stays out of the way. And then I've also got clamps that can go on this way to hold it in on the X direction, and they will either go in sitting here in this spot or go down in between any one of these pieces of rectangular tubing, and you can clamp that in there. If you think that you might still run in possibly to the clamps with the router head, you could put a spacer piece in there like this and clamp it in and get your clamps farther away. Same thing with this. If you wanted to loosen this up, slide a piece of material in here, push down on it and clamp it. I've used this about 5 or 6 times so far. Seems to work really well. And then I've also got, if we go and turn the machine on here, power. And now it's turned on. Ask for all access home. We'll hit OK. Okay, now it's going to come over to the mechanical stops for the absolute 0 on the homes. And then what I did, if we move it over here a little ways, run this down so you can kind of see what's going on here. So now if you want to go over to the lower left corner, all you're going to do is hit the origin button twice. Cutting head goes up. It's going to go over to the corner of where I've got that dialed in for the edge of that jig. And if you can tell, the point of that bit is right on the corner of that material. So that's going to be good. I just have to throw material in there, clamp it, and if I don't ever change the origin of where my 1X, 1Y, 1Z is at, that should stay the same indefinitely. So that works good if I'm doing a bunch of miscellaneous parts. I don't have to go find the center of the material or try to find the corner. Everything all the time goes into that corner of that jig, and it's always in the same spot. I've done some wood and I've done some metal engraving so far. This is a piece of 60 thousandths aluminum, and you can see it just fits in there good, same way the wood does. Throw a piece of spacer in, clamp it, pull that one down, clamp it, and I've been using the diamond drag bit on the aluminum, playing around with it, and that seems to work really well. And I know if we decide to do some wood someday like this and clamp that in, normally what you're supposed to do is have a piece of sacrificial material between the piece you're cutting and the table, so you don't cut into your table. And especially on this where it's steel, you wouldn't want a metal bit cutting into the steel, because you're definitely going to break something. So what we've ended up doing, which is a pretty quick, easy fix. Let me run this out of the, move this out of the way. We've cut 3 wood signs on this already, and this seems to be working great. I buy this 48 by 40 and 48 by 40 cardboard sheets all the time for boxing up signs. It's just sacrificial material. I can lay this on here. It goes down into the corner just like everything else does. you can set your wood down. It still goes and clamps down into the corner. And then what I can do to clamp this piece of wood in, because you run this down until it touches that. Do the same thing with clamping it there. Put a spacer piece on, put your clamp on, and you can clamp it this direction. And everything seems to stay good. And then when it goes down through the wood you're cutting, goes down 30 or 40 thousandths down into this cardboard, and it doesn't screw the bed up, it doesn't mess the table up. It works great. I don't have any problems with that. And then if the plywood, or I mean the cardboard, wears out, throw it away, get another piece. So that's what I did for a couple quick modifications on everything, and was just going to share that. So thanks for watching. Thank you.